To start with, the first question was from Alexander. He says, SKAG or not SKAG? That's the question. So for anybody that doesn't know what the hell he's talking about, that means single keyword ad group. I don't do those anymore. For many years in Google Ads, that's how I would set up search campaigns, was the single keyword ad group. Learned that from Perry Marshall, 80/20 Google Ads or whatever. Yeah, I believe that's his name. It's been so long since I've read the book. Anyways, I learned how to do those kind of um, Google Ads campaigns using a single keyword ad group, which used to work. Google doesn't honor that anymore. When the algorithm changed from a keyword based algorithm to a basically an entity based algorithm, what I call a topic or category based algorithm, the single keyword ad group stopped working. They don't function like they used to. To clarify what I mean, guys, a single keyword ad group means when you create, for those of you that do YouTube ads, stand by for 1 second. I want to open a notepad file that doesn't have client project work in it, because I use notepad files for everything. So guys, if you understand match types in Google Ads, and this is again training, I'm answering the question, but at the same time I want to do some training on this because we have very few questions anyways. In Google Ads, there are 3 match types. There's broad match, phrase match, exact match. Okay. Broad match is where, let's say, tree service, where I'm in Scottsdale. So let's say Scottsdale. That's where the search query could contain any one of those 3 keywords and or any one of those 3 words in any format, anywhere in the search query, and that will return. If somebody does a search and the search query contains tree, service, and Scottsdale in any order, in any rearrangement or whatever, it doesn't matter. As long as those 3 keywords were present, it would show your ad could get an impression for that search query. That's broad match. Okay, phrase match is this. And phrase match means that this particular phrase has to be in the search query in that order. There can be stuff ahead of it, stuff after it, or stuff ahead and after. But as long as this search query is intact in that order, in that overall search query, then your ad could get an impression. The last version of that is an exact match. That's this one. And that would be meaning it's specifically this keyword and this keyword only that should get an impression. That ad should get an impression for. That's it, nothing else. Now, during that, so that's what you would call a single keyword ad group, would be to create an ad group within a campaign that would be targeting a specific keyword such as that. Okay. And previously, Google used to only return or show an ad, give an ad an impression for that particular search query or close variants of that. What is a close variant? Well, it used to be something like if I did tree service or tree services, right? Those would be close variants. And that's about it. Or you might see also tree service near me in that as kind of a variant as well, because that's kind of it's the same keyword search query, but now it's got kind of a location modifier to it, right? A near me modifier. But these were close variants. Now Google doesn't do that anymore because it's no longer a keyword based algorithm. And this is actually how I discovered this, was through Google Ads. It wasn't through SEO. When I discovered the algorithm had shifted from kind of a keyword based algorithm, it was because of Google Ads that I discovered this. Seriously, because I run Google Ads for some clients, and I used to always do single keyword ad groups. And all of a sudden I started noticing in my keyword search queries reports, which showed in the Google Ads platform, that the search queries that your ads got impressions and or clicks for, right? You can go in and look at the search queries, the specific queries that generated the impressions. And I would go into my single keyword ad groups and started noticing that my single keyword ad groups, because by the way, guys, I used to do one for tree service, tree removal, tree trimming. So a separate keyword ad, single keyword ad group for each one of those very specific keyword types, because I would have a separate dedicated landing page for tree trimming, one for tree removal, one for tree service, one for stump grinding, right? So it'd be separate, very specific keyword ad groups, single keyword ad groups that would then have their own dedicated landing page. But when all of a sudden I started noticing, and I believe it was around October or so of 2022, is when I noticed all of a sudden that these types, all of a sudden I started seeing tree removal, right? Tree cutting. I started seeing tree trimming, tree pruning, tree care, arborist, arborist service, all these different kind of keywords. And even though I had separate keyword ad groups for each one of those keywords, I started seeing the same search queries appearing across all single keyword ad groups. That's when I started investigating it. And that's how I discovered that the algorithm had changed from a keyword-based algorithm to a topic or category-based. Why? Because the category or the top level category for tree service contractors is tree service. The top level topic term is tree maintenance. Okay. So what I'm saying is, and this is what I've been teaching about for ever since I discovered this, I've been talking about this on mastermind webinars, Hump Day Hangouts. I've done multiple versions of training about this specific topic. Okay. But tree service, all of these keywords that I was just referencing here. So tree trimming, tree pruning, arborist, all of these keywords here are all relevant to the tree service Google business category, or are all part of subtopics of the topic, tree maintenance, not topic maintenance, tree maintenance. So what's the difference? Well, when I'm optimizing for local projects that have Google business profiles, I typically want to optimize for the primary Google business category. Google already associates all these different types of search queries with that category. When I'm optimizing for projects that are organic only or organic pages as part of a project that has a Google business profile, then I typically want to optimize top level pages or location pages for the top level topic term. When I say location pages, meaning like supporting location pages, top level topic term plus location modifier, right? So, and the reason I do this is because exactly what I've been from what I discovered from this Google Ads process was that now the algorithm is such that Google thinks this tree service single keyword ad group, it will start to display or give impressions for all of the search queries that are associated with that category or topic, depending on what you're optimizing for. Does that make sense? And so therefore, these single keyword ad groups were not being honored anymore. Instead of only close variants appearing in that as an impression or getting an impression for close variants within that single keyword ad group, now it was showing impressions for all of the associated search queries that Google understands are associated with that topic or category, if that makes sense. And so the whole point that I'm trying to make here, guys, is this is actually how I discovered this was through Google Ads, because all of a sudden, all my single keyword ad groups were not, I was seeing all kind of mixed search queries or impressions for, even though I had very specific and unique dedicated single keyword ad groups. And so I was going in and adding negative keywords to each one of the single keyword ad groups to try to restrict Google Ads from showing impressions from one single keyword ad group for another search query that already had its own single keyword ad group. So it was an enormous amount of work to constantly be going in and looking at the search query report and pulling out the search queries that should not have been given an impression for that single keyword ad group and adding it as a negative keyword. And I was doing that across every single keyword ad group. So it was an enormous amount of work. And finally I said, fuck it, I'm not doing that anymore. And that's what I started testing on the SEO side of things with optimizing for topics or categories. So if it hadn't been for Google Ads, it would have probably been fairly a considerable amount longer before I had discovered that and before I'd even started testing with it. But that's why I'm talking about single keyword ad groups really aren't worth it anymore, in my opinion. Unless you're going to be very vigilant about going in and adding all those kind of negative keywords to the single keyword ad groups that are getting impressions for ad groups, for search queries that should have only been served for another ad group, if that's clear. So it's a lot of work, but again, if you're in a single industry, it might be worth it to try to build that out, because then you could just clone that campaign into different locations for different contract or companies, clients, etc. But if you're doing this across multiple businesses, multiple industries, I think it would be very difficult to try to work the single keyword ad group process into the way that ads work now, if that's clear. So hopefully that makes sense. I don't think it's worth it. In my opinion, it's too much work. I do think that you should still try to, optimize pages for targeted search queries as much as possible. But again, you have to be really vigilant about negative keywords and going in and adding them into the campaign then when you see them appear, so that you can have a higher ad quality score, because your landing page and all that kind of stuff matches the ad better and all that. So like I said, Google Ads is a bit of I can't get any consistent results out of Google Ads for search ads myself personally. It sucks. Some areas I do well and I can make Google Ads profitable. In other areas, I can't get them profitable no matter what I do, even for the same industry is what I'm saying. In the tree service industry, I'm running ads in Louisville, Kentucky, and the cost is now going up because it's the start of the busy season. A few weeks ago, I was getting really good, profitable leads from Google Ads that I was then reselling. Now in Northern Virginia, I can't do that. I can't get any Google Ads to be profitable on the lead gen side of things. I just can't do it. The cost CPC is too high. So again, it's just hit or miss. I can't get any consistency out of it on my own. That's why I still don't teach Google Ads, because I'm not consistent with my own projects, if that's clear. So